Ordeal by fire, Kurdish protesters set themselves alight. Treble for Robbie as he tops the Brit Awards. And Everson earns his Spurs as Tottenham make the League Cup final.
Sky News on the Hour with Allan King.
Good morning. 6 people are still being held hostage by Kurdish exiles occupying embassies across Europe. The captives include the wife and child of the Greek ambassador to the Netherlands and a caretaker at the Greek embassy in London. The protests are over the part played by Greece in the capture of the Kurdish rebel leader Abdullah Öcalan. He's been handed over to Turkey and is facing the death penalty. In London, hundreds of protesters are camped outside the Greek embassy, supporting about 100 Kurds who remain inside. There have been similar protests right across Europe, with hostages being taken in the Netherlands and Switzerland. In France and Germany, riot police had to storm occupied embassies. And in Denmark and Britain, demonstrators set fire to themselves. You may find some of these pictures distressing.
In London tonight, the protests continue many hours after the embassy takeover. A group of Kurds remain inside the Greek mission. There are demonstrators still on the streets, all incensed by the capture of Abdullah Öcalan and his return to Turkey.
Well, the demonstrations will continue until the friends who are inside the embassy are going to decide that they will put an end to their demonstration, and once they make that decision, the people outside here will also end their demonstration here.
Negotiations are ongoing and we hope that this matter will be resolved peacefully at the first available opportunity. We are obviously concerned that this matter is kept peaceful and that all persons are looked after.
Earlier, tension had risen as the hours passed by, and news spread of the alleged Greek role in Öcalan's capture and the stern warning from the Turkish Prime Minister. He said the Kurdish leader would now be held to account for his people's 15-year-long struggle against Turkey, a conflict that's cost almost 30,000 lives. By the afternoon, the crowd had swollen to several hundred. Suddenly, from their midst, a woman who'd set herself alight ran forward. Police and demonstrators rushed upon her to try to smother the flames. It was a protest born of the rising fury of the Kurdish independence movement, a struggle that's received little international attention compared, say, to that of the Palestinians.
But it's just to prove how much we love him and how much we're willing to give to this war, basically. It's been going on for ages.
What else we can do? People sometimes, feel at the moment right now there is nothing else to do, just set themselves alive.
The woman involved in the incident was not thought to be seriously injured, but with Abdullah Öcalan now facing the full force of Turkish law, these protests are unlikely to be the last. Graham Leach, Sky News.
Of the Kurdish protesters inside the Greek embassy in London. Let me ask you first of all, how long do you plan to stay there?
Well, this demonstration is going to be till we get news from British governments and United Nations. We haven't heard anything from them. We're going to be in this building in the embassy till we got some news, proper news from the governments of British and United Nations.
You say you want proper news. What exactly is it you want to hear?
Well, we want to hear from them that our leader is going to be in Turkey at safe hands, and his health is all right, and we just want to know that he is all right, and we just want to hear his noise at the moment.
The man you refer to as your leader is considered internationally to be a terrorist.
He's not terrorist, and we know how much we love him, and we know who is the terrorist, but some European countries who doesn't want to accept them, they see him as a terrorist. But if you check the real story, if you check all the history, and you'll see who are the real terrorists, and you'll see who are the real terrorists is.
I gather at the moment in the embassy with you, you're holding the caretaker.
Yes, we are holding a caretaker. Well, actually, he's the guest of us, and he's happy with us. We look after him more than ourselves, and he's very happy with us.
You say he's a guest. Does that mean he can leave now if he wants to?
Well, if he wants, he can leave now, and he's happy, and he says he doesn't want to leave us.
But you're telling me that the caretaker can leave now if he chooses to?
Yes, he can leave if he wants to live out here.
How are you looking after him?
Well, we're looking after him very well, and we're looking after him better than himself.
When you say you want news about the man you call your leader, Abdullah Öcalan, how do you think the British government, and it's obviously an embassy in London that you're invading, how do you think the British government can help you?
Because this embassy is in Britain, yeah? This embassy is in Britain, and we are in embassy of Greek in Britain, so British government needs to give us an answer.
The embassy is in Britain, certainly, but it is not a problem which Britain is intrinsically involved in.
Well, Britain are involved because we are in London, and
Britain is involved
because
Britain is involved purely because you have invaded an embassy in London.
Because Britain involved because they are a European country. They haven't. There are many Kurdish people living in London, in Britain, UK. So it seems like their problem as well, all European problem as well. The European countries need to solve that problem.
Okay, you said you're looking after the caretaker, who you agree is being held hostage. In your words, you're looking after him better than he would look after himself. Could you bring him to the phone so I can speak to him?
Well, he's sleeping at the moment.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind being woken.
Huh?
I'm sure he wouldn't mind being woken so he could have a word with us on Sky News.
He's sleeping at the moment, and I am a bit far from him now. He's sleeping at the moment.
Well, there are 100 of you, I think, in the embassy. Couldn't one of your colleagues call him for me?
100 over, and we are at the moment we are surrounded by police.
Yes, but they're outside the embassy. You're inside. So is the caretaker.
Yeah, but
Can't you bring him to the phone?
They can attack us immediately whenever they want to, and we are ready for them, and we're waiting for them. You see?
I don't think the British police are actually in the habit of attacking, as you put it.
Well, we are waiting for them because
so
they're checking us, and they making some preparation for.
Well, I'm sure they want to keep public safety and public order as much as possible. So you're not prepared at this stage, Mehmet, to bring the caretaker to the phone so that we can hear that he confirms what you say, that he's happy to stay.
He's at sleep now.
And you're not willing to wake him?
Yeah.
I see. OK, well, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.
And we'll cross live now to our reporter, Keir Simmons, who is actually outside the Greek embassy in London. Well, Keir, can you tell us what is going on there at the moment, please?
Well, I've just spoken to the police. They're estimating that there are about 250 people here now. That looks about right. Certainly the numbers have been dwindling. Some news as well from the hospital where the 15-year-old girl who set herself alight earlier is being looked after. The hospital there say that she is being kept in the burns unit, that she's stable and that isn't likely to change overnight. There is talk here that she's suffered 30% burns. Whether or not that's the case, the hospital, the Chelsea and Westminster, where she's being kept, aren't confirming that.
Clearly, when we have a situation of people turning themselves into human torches, as we have seen, the mood, the feeling must have been very volatile. What is the atmosphere like at the moment?
It's nothing like it was earlier. You're right, it was very tense earlier today when that teenager set herself alight. The crowd was chanting, and then from their midst, this girl appeared. Her back was on fire, the flames were going up, setting her hair alight, and the police and protesters threw themselves on her and managed to put the flames out. But even after the flames were out, she held up a victory sign as she was being carried away. An indication of just how determined these people are to protest and to make the world listen to what they say are their legitimate grievances.
And what is the police line there, Kira, at the moment? Clearly they will be cautious in what they say, but what line are they taking?
Well, they do seem to be taking a cautious line, a softly approach. Certainly in relation to the protesters out here they are. In relation to the protesters inside the embassy, it's of course difficult to tell. On a technical point, they say that the man who's being held hostage in there isn't a caretaker, he's actually a clerk from the embassy. The fact that that is a hostage situation, clearly puts a different light on things, and it's possible that they are considering how to end the situation in some way. But of course, there doesn't seem to be any sign that the protesters inside the embassy intend to be violent in any way, and as long as that's the case, I suspect the police will hold out and hope that the whole thing can end without any kind of violence.
Keir Simmons outside the Greek embassy in London. Keir, thank you very much indeed.